Welcome to X1T Gaming, and together we're going to revolutionize the gaming industry. So, when we have problems and setbacks, we try to go around them, try to fix them, try to always push on forward and do stuff new. So, I'm going to actually be putting Pachinko on hold right now because, as the description says, UPBGE doesn't really work well with mobile devices. So because of that, we are going to look more towards PC stuff, and I just feel like Pachinko is more of a mobile device. It's not a computer game, and so we are going to change things up. The interesting part is I came up with an idea that I'm going to do for gaming. I actually have written a book, not advertising, but yes, I am advertising. um, yeah, so I've written a book, and I decided, you know what? I personally, I really enjoy the storyline of the book, and I feel like it has pretty good twists and turns. However, I'm not the best of writers, and so as I wrote the book, I've heard that it was pretty obvious what was going to happen. And so I feel like doing it in a gameplay mode where it's more of a freestyle for these twists and turns. Um, I feel like that will make it less obvious. Yes. I could be wrong. I could be just ruining it right now. But then the people who've told me that are people who know me, and so it might be because they just know me, because I like to say that I'm very unpredictable, but I am so unpredictable that I am predictable. So once you start to get to know me, you will find out that I am predictable. But until you know me, everything that I do just doesn't make sense. And then afterwards, you're just like, oh, yeah, no, now that I know his thought process, it makes perfect sense. He's so predictable. So right now, we're going to be actually looking into pixel art for the Blender program. We're going to do, we're going to Google that, see what we can come up with, search on Google Sensei. Wait, maybe I shouldn't have all those addresses up there. What was I going to search? Pixel art. Pixel art, Blender. Okay, Blender 3D pixel art tutorial. Can you do pixel art in Blender? I feel like you could do anything in Blender. From what I've been like looking. Oh, it's the same one. From what I've been like looking into Blender and looking at some of the stuff, like if you guys remember the UP BGE.org, like I can't remember if I did this with you guys, but I went here, and then I went to here, Blender artists, and just looking at some of the stuff that they do, like this is like absolutely amazing. Like, look at this stuff. This is, oh wait, is this like a, oh, the guy even has like a film. What, like look at all the detail into this. Like this is just like, ooh, that's creepy. And the music is creepy too. Yeah, no, I'm not watching this. I don't like this. Okay, let's watch a little bit more. I want to know that shadow. Okay, so I've never actually seen The Shining, but I know that this is from. Wow. Wow, this is like amazing. Wow, I'm like really creeped out right now. Red rum, okay. Yeah, no, they did pretty good. That wasn't there before, I don't think. And then you're gonna see the twins probably over on this corner. Like, I've never seen a movie, but I know that you had that Yeah, no, I actually I've never seen the movie, so I don't know. I just seen like scenes of like him chopping it up and saying like, "Oh, here's Johnny," um, and that's pretty much all I know. And then I see some of like the blood because it's apparently a lot of people. Yeah, there you go. That's what he puts his head out there. His head out there, and it's oh, there's the axe. That's pretty cool. Are they gonna have? Is it gonna have Nicolas Cage? No, probably not. But still, like, look at the detail. Wow. I feel like this dude could probably just like redo The Shining all on this, and it'd be just that much more amazing. Yeah, don't ask me to watch it. I don't like horror movies. I'm like I'm already just freaked out from just this, and this is just like like this music is nice, but it's like that creepy nice. Wow, look at that smoke. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. So, just so you guys know, I'm like personally probably never gonna get to that point. I love it. But like, yeah. What's this? What the heck? Give me a sec. Give me a sec before I start pressing buttons and showing you my account detail stuff and passwords, and then you guys can hack me. I'm already pretty gullible. Okay, that was weird. But yeah, so I was just looking through these the other days. Like, look at the detail of this guy's beard. Like, that's just really amazing. Okay, so maybe there's not that much detail in the beard. It's a little bit. It's not. Yeah, but still, like, wow, wow. Yeah, it's the beard. So because I been growing a beard. This is the first time I've grown a beard. I've been staring at it a lot. So and I stare at a lot of other guys' beards too. Oh, I want to go over. There's one here that was like so amazing that I saw the other day that I want to share. I don't know how to do that. Gallery. It was like of this like giant snake. Here we go. Like look at the detail to this. Like look at this. This is just absolutely insane. And I saw the guy like do the thing, like a time lapse art. So looking at this, I feel like any you could do like anything with Blender, which is just like look at these cherry blossoms. Like they look like they're almost like pictures. It's like someone took a photo. It's very well done. And you can see this is the unrendered or like this is like this like the before the colors or stuff like that. So I don't think I'll ever get there, and my goal is not to get there. My goal is to make games. But Blender pixel art tutorial. So this is Blender, and this is what I'm trying to go for. The reason why I want to go for pixel art is because I believe it's a little bit easier for me to do. Yeah. Speaking of easier, let me see. Is pixel art hard? It's one of the top ones. Noob question: is pixel art easier than regular art at all? Okay, so depending on the size of the tiles and characters, etc., lighting plays an even bigger role in pixel art sometimes. Even in regular art, you can capture and frame the main points exactly, but with improper shading, it will never catch on. Nobody will be amazed by it. Learn to see lighting is not okay. So some of this pixel art is like actually pretty nice. Yeah. Wow. Man, I'm like kind of like just depressing myself from like all these like amazing artists and knowing that like I've wasted my life. Like look at some of this stuff. Just look at some of this stuff. Like look how amazing. Like this is pixel art. Like I wasn't even thinking about making something look this nice. Right? I was hoping that maybe something would be like this, but still I think that's better than I could do. There's no way that's pixel art. What? What? No. Man, these people are so like amazing and talented. I just feel like yeah, I wasted my life. I should have been doing some art, but I never. Oh, that's funny. What's his name? Are they gonna show Totoro? Yeah, I think they're going to. Probably be the last one. House Moving Castle. What? You didn't do Totoro? Are you serious? Apparently, was it? I can't remember his name. He Miyazaki films. He yeah, I can't remember. But like apparently, like I've heard that like in real life, this guy's like super depressing to be around. And he's just like angry and like a bitter old man, which is like surprisingly shocking because his stories are just so amazing. And then someone was doing like a side by side with him and another guy, and this other guy has this like super dark and depressing anime, but like he's like super happy go lucky in real life. It's like they're complete opposites. They're opposite personalities, opposite theologies, and then their art is just completely opposite as well. Okay, so let's watch this together. Learn how to do pixel art. Like man, some of this stuff is like really good.
This video is sponsored by Skillshare.
Okay.
I apologize for my voice, but I'm actually getting over being sick for the sickness that will not be named, otherwise it will demonetize this channel. But with that, let's get moving. Hey everyone, today we're going to be showing you how to turn this into this.
When he says getting over sickness, I bet you, please don't comment the name below or YouTube will limit my ads. Okay, so I bet you, yeah, 2020. Everybody knows what he's got. Everybody knows. You've been tested.
Being sick for the sickness that will not be named, otherwise it will demonetize this channel. But with that, let's get moving. Hey everyone, today we're going to be showing you how to turn this into this. So this is kind of a method that they've been using in indie games recently, where you can convert 3D models down to pixel art and blow it back up so they can kind of get high-res pixel art. So we're going to be learning how to do that in Blender today. So what's very important to keep in mind when you're trying to do this effect is that it's only going to really look nice when you have simpler characters with big blocks of color. So characters with a lot of detail aren't going to look great, and characters that don't have a strong silhouette or aren't like this character, for example, where they have big chunks of color and things that give them a really easy read even when they're small, aren't going to look great in the pixel art. So that's just one thing to consider when designing or picking your character.
Oh, man, it's gonna
so
suck.
Now what we need to do is we need to make sure that we're on the Eevee render engine, because we're going to add a toon shader. So all this kind of shading here that occurs when we're using our normal cycles render engine, or when we're not using a toon shader, is going to come.
So I wanted to do pixel art first because I thought it was going to be easier. I didn't want to have to make a 3D model and then turn it into pixel art.
Kind of muddy up the pixel art, and it's not really going to know what color to choose, and you're actually going to end up losing detail in the long run. So I found that the best results come with a toon shader. So let's talk about how to do that. First of all, we're going to switch over to our rendered view here, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a light. So I'm just going to add an area light. I'm going to rotate this, and I'm going to put this over here, and then I'm just going to brighten that up there. Then I'm actually going to take this and rotate just ever so slightly here so that we kind of get a bit more shading, and I'm going to turn this up to maybe 500. Great. Now let's go into the materials and look at a quick way to create a toon shader. So this only works in Eevee, this doesn't work in cycles. So if I come up here and I grab this, you can see that I have a diffuse BDSF node going into here. And you can use other shader nodes, but I find diffuse works the best. So what I'm going to do is add a shader to RGB node. So if I grab that and just put that over the top of there, it will connect those two. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this out, and then after shader to RGB, I'm going to add a color ramp. And if I drag that there, we can start to control our shadows there. And you can still see that we're getting a lot of gradation, and that's not what I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this, and I'm going to hit constant. And what that's going to do is going to give me a harsh shadow there. So then what I can do is put that back there, and then I can then drag this one to the left until I get what I think is a good amount of shading on my character. And you can play with this more. And if we play it there, you can see it's a little glitchy in there, but it's doing fine. And you can adjust that lighting. And I've noticed that the smaller the white it is, like the more harsh the light is, the better it does. So if you have a big soft light, for example, like I had with that area light, it tends to kind of make those glitches appear more because it doesn't know what shadow to pick. Whereas here, let's move this up here and play forward. You can see that it's giving us a little bit more consistent results. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that. You can put any color here, and that's going to affect the color that you have. So let's go ahead and I'm going to kind of put a dark red here.
Like a 3D model rather than
and I've kind of saved these colors, so I'm just copying the hex codes over for time's sake. Let's put that one there.
You how to
and I can kind of have that pink and red going on, and I don't even want that much. Once you have that exported, what you're going to want to do is you're going to create a head, come over here. You want to export this as high res, which I'd rendered 17. So we can come over here to the kind of a 1-to-1 contrast shader editor. And you can see here it's kind of created this automatic setup for us. So let's go ahead, drag our image sequence out here. We're going to take our color and we're just going to pipe that into the emission node down there. What that's going to do is just brighten it up so that we get kind of a 1-to-1 contrast. So now what we're going to do is we're going to scale this up to match our scene. And if you've done everything as I have, it should all be in the origin point and just scale right up there. And you can see that this looks awful because it's so blurry. So then now what we can do, so we can come over here to the image sequence in the shader editor, and here we have this linear, and this applies to the texture interpolation, and we don't want linear, so we're going to change that to closest, and that will give us a pixel art. So let's go ahead, let's reduce the end frame to the amount of frames that we rendered, which I'd rendered 17. If you don't know how many that was, you can look up here on your image sequence and it'll tell you. Let's go ahead and hit play, and now we can see that we have a pixel art render of our character. If you want to export this as high res, then what you can do is just go ahead, and since you have everything locked down here, you can go right back and export it just as you was anything else, and it'll have a pixel art export.
If you're looking to improve your skills as an artist,
okay. So, got to shiver. So that was okay. How to make animated pixel art character sprites with...
Hey, basically, how do we go from a 3D model to a 2D?
I have a feeling this is probably going to be
2D animated sprite. I'm creating this hand-drawn animation, which is 8 frames in 8 directions. So in this case, I made an 8-frame animation looping 8 times, and I make sure the head and the body stay stationary. Go in Render Properties, set the render engine to cycles, the device to GPU compute, set the render sampling to 20, go to Film, set the pixel filter to the lowest possible value, enable transparent. Next, go in Output Properties, change the resolution X and Y to 1080p, change the end frame to 64, set the frame rate to custom and set it to 20. Make sure the color is set to RGBA, set the compression to 0% to eliminate the possibilities of artifacts. Next, we set up the lighting. Shift A to add a sun. Press N and change its rotation X to 39 and rotation Z to 21. This already creates interesting shadows that will pixelize well. Next, press Shift A and add a point light. Go in Light Properties and disable Cast Shadow. Press Num 7 to go to Top View. Press G to move the light to one side. Duplicate the light with Shift D and add 3 more lights to cover every side, like so. Press Num 1 for front view, select the 4-point light, press G, then Z to move the light up to the desired position. In this case, I move the light to highlight the face and upper areas. Next, Shift A to add a camera. Press Num 1 to get to front view, then press Ctrl Alt 0 to set the camera to this view. In Camera Properties, change the type to Orthographic, change the size to 2.2, press G and Z to move the camera so the model is framed properly. Next, we set up the outlines with Freestyle. So, go to Render Properties and enable Freestyle. Set the line thickness to 10. Next, we create a different freestyle line based on the material settings. Go to the model materials and
I feel like this guy probably
once the render
has-
is done, add some movement. In this case, I will move the tip of the hair 1 pixel up every time the sprite is moving 1 space down. You can change the canvas size to something more reasonable. Then you can polish and clean up your sprite animation the way you prefer. In this case, I will first add the eyes. Then to give it a little bumpy SNES feel, I select every 2 frames from the moment its feet touch the ground and I move it down 1 pixel. It's very simple and the result is satisfying. Next, we add some movement. In this case, I will move the tip of the hair 1 pixel up every time the sprite is moving 1 space down. If you want, you can do the same with the clothes.
That's a lot of editing.
Once you're satisfied with the result, you can select all frame and adjust the colors. In this case, I change the brightness and contrast a little. And voila! We have an animated pixel art sprite ready to use.
Yeah, so these are interesting, but I wanted pixel art at the beginning. Blender, how to make pixel art. Let's go Blender Nation one more time. Yeah, they're just showing that guy again. Oh, so I don't know. I thought pixel art was going to be something that was more easy to do for Blender. Making advanced.
Hey, this is Mitaka, and today I want to get a deep dive into how to render pixels.
Yeah, so everybody that I'm
Rotate
looking
this,
at pretty much is saying
and when we're done.
if you want to make
Also
pixel art, you
add,
just make your model and
this.
then
You can
you
also set a thickness
change
in
the
your material.
lighting.
So if you have materials that should have thicker outlines, you can do so. I hope you find this useful and can incorporate that into your pipelines. I highly suggest to also do a lot of pixel art by hand.
let's create pixel art like a pro.
Time has finally come
One thing.
to tackle a subject that puts fear into the hearts of all. Pixel art.
This is just
Wait,
pixel art.
that sounds scary. Modern art. Pixel art can be a challenging skill to pick up, especially if you're new to game development, or if you find yourself more as just a programmer. It's easy to look at all the talented artists around you and feel intimidated. To be honest, I still fight that feeling to this day. But here's the dirty little secret. Everyone starts out terrible at art. Wait, no, don't show that. Oh, no. I feel like there's people out there that think that art is some magic mumbo jumbo that only a small
Maybe it's
group
just
of
like
humans possess.
outsource it.
But that's not the case. It's a skill that takes time and practice, and that also has a bunch of objective rules to learn, just like programming. So I thought I would give what I consider my top tips on how to improve your pixel art. So tip your fedoras, and let's get started.
So yeah,
Tip number 1. Find a tool and stick with it. You may have heard me rant about how people jump from game engine to game engine, Well, with art, it's the same exact thing.
Not me.
Find a software you like and stick with it. It doesn't matter if you're using Sprite, Pixel, Paint.net, heck, MS Paint is fantastic. As long as you're using something that feels comfortable, that's all that matters. Because ultimately, the software you use is just a tool, nothing more. It doesn't.
Okay, so I wonder, can I import pixel art into Blender from somewhere else?
Hey,
Can I import pixel art into Blender? Okay, pixels with 100% alpha are ignored. Use and install button under edit preference add-ons to install the script, and then check. Wait, what?
In this video, we're going to learn how to do pixel art texture painting in Blender. Start with a 3D model that you've already unwrapped.
Okay, let's watch this one. This one, I think, is what we are trying to go for.
If you don't know how to do this, watch a tutorial. Click on the Texture Paint tab, click on New, and now we're going to create a new texture for our model. Go ahead and name it whatever you want. And now we're going to set the dimensions of the texture. Common dimensions that you'll be working with are 32, 64, 128, and 256. In my case, I'm going to change this to 64 by 64. If you click here, you can change the base color of the texture. You can do whatever you want. And once you're done, click OK. Next, at the top right, click on Fall Off and select this square bracket looking button right here. Then in the Tool tab, under Mode, select Single Image. Then click on this button right here and select the texture that we just created. We're going to change Linear to Closest. And now if you zoom in, you can paint pixels onto your model. Press F to change the size of your brush so you can draw more pixels if you want. And that's about it. If you want your texture to be perfectly symmetrical, do not use the symmetry option here. This sucks. Instead, you want to use a mirror modifier. And now you can paint perfectly symmetrical textures and you'll find that it works much better than the symmetry option. Anytime you make a change to your texture, if you want to save your progress, make sure to click on Image and select Save. Otherwise, you're going to lose your progress once you close out of Blender. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, bell, links to my social media down below.
Okay, so that's pretty much what we wanted. And I'll probably close out with that. On that note, so you can pixel art. It looks like they're like boxes, and then you're just going to draw on the boxes. So what I might do for like animation is just do like a couple of different looks for the textures, and so like have them kind of like going like walking kind of thing, so make it more of a pixelated, and I'll just kind of like keep just replacing the images. If I could do that constantly, so as they walk, you just go do 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 do, and then if you stand still, then you do something else. That might be the best approach for me. I actually really like that video. Yeah. Yeah, what program does pixel art use? How do you make a 3D model in pixel art? No. Yeah, I feel like that was the only one. What Blender tutorial, how to texture pixel art in Blender.
So you've made an awesome pixel texture and now you want to import that into Blender and put it on a cube or sphere, whatever. Welcome back to Touch by Kai, I'm Kai, and today we are back in Blender once again, and we're going to be adding a pixel art texture, the pixel art texture we made in Sprite a little bit ago, actually, onto a cube. So first things first, we're going to actually leave our cube. Default cube gets to stay today, and so does default lamp, but camera needs to go. So we're going to delete our camera and hit one on my numpad to go to front facing view, Shift A, or go over here to create and add in a camera. We're going to scroll that back in the scene, hit 0 on my camera to go into the front, on my numpad to go into the front facing view of my camera. So once that's all done, we're going to select our cube, middle mouse button to pan around your scene. We're going to select our cube and go down to File, User Preferences. And with User Preferences, we're going to go to, where is it at? I can never remember.
Yeah, no, I'm done. So one of the thoughts that I just had for the pixel art is instead of having like maybe two images, just turning it off and on, maybe I could have like the cube image and then I just rotate it. Yeah. You want to give me a hug and a kiss? Okay. Oops, sorry. Do you want to say hi to the people on the internet? Look there and say hello.
What was that?
What?
What's that?
Daddy's just looking at stuff. He's trying to learn how to make games. Yeah, Daddy's doing work. Okay. You ready to go back to bed?
No.
Not yet. Oh, good kisses. Thank you. Okay. I love you. Good night. That's my daughter. You boys stay away. She's too young. Okay, so with that, we will end the streaming today. I'll try to look at maybe some pixel art. Try to see if I'm going to do that. Yeah, because like if I'm going to do pixel art and do like one pixel at a time, I feel like I might be able to draw stuff. I might be able to do it. And then, yeah, maybe I'll just make like each character a cube and just have it turn around. Just have it rotate and flip. So every time you press it, just flips 90 degrees really quickly. That you don't see that it's doing. You just think that it's changing the pixel. And I'll have it move as well. So I'll have it move like this, and I'll have it rotate like really fast, 90 degrees every time that it's clicked. I wonder how that would work. Yeah, I don't know. Be fun. It'll be fun. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so I got a new game that I'm doing. It's going to be based on my book. My book is really is a short story. It has like 5 chapters, so I might stretch it out. And we're thinking about doing a puzzle game, but I'll try to write out as much as I can, get it all written out, show you guys. And I'm sorry that I'm canceling Pachinko. If you guys are interested in that, I'll have to come back to it, simply because I want to get a game out there, and I don't think I could get it on the mobile devices working through Blender. Yeah, but I do know that I could get it onto Steam. So if you guys got Steam, then look out for my game. If you don't, then go download it. It's free, so that you can download my game. Okay, you guys have a good one, and I will see you tomorrow.